Good morning. It's Jane. Is it still morning? It is. I hope you guys are doing well. I've got my little heart back here again and my quilt block because I got asked a question after yesterday's live that I did about, I was showing you guys Miss Mustard Seeds paint that I absolutely love. No sticky, so dry and beautiful. So I'm really happy to be carrying that. But somebody asked me, well, Jane, how do you buff to get a shine? How do you buff that? So I wanted to talk to you guys today about the humble topic of buffing. And I kind of take it for granted, but it can change an entire piece, and it's so, so important. So when I wax, I know I can leave it matte, flat. I can buff it a little bit for a sheen, or I can really buff the heck out of it and get a really high gloss. And I did that with a custom piece I did a couple of years ago. It was in this beautiful deep navy blue, no distressing, just mid-century piece. It was like a china cabinet, and this person wanted it really shiny. Now I'm not getting it as shiny as enamel, but I got a really beautiful shine just by buffing the heck out of it. And I actually used, this is a horsehair buffer. You could see it's all chewed up. I have another one somewhere, but this is what I used for that piece. So I want to show you guys how I buff and what to do in situations like this where there's all these little nooks and crannies, and if you don't get everywhere the same way, you're gonna get, let's see if you can see it. My dogs are barking down there. Maybe right there. But what's happening is it's satiny. I don't want this too shiny around where I can get it, but the little areas that I can't get, they're matte. They're still matte from the wax. So let me show you a bunch of different ways to do it. Now this is a red base, so I don't have a problem using this color horsehair brush. I have had situations, well, one situation that turned everything around. I used this brush on a white piece that I had done, pure, beautiful white, and it was leaving brown streaks in the wax. So I think that they dye these bristles. It has to be. I don't know why else. I hadn't used it on a piece that I used dark wax on. It was unbelievable. So I don't use the dark hair. I still love it, but I learned my lesson. So what I do to buff, I just go in and I buff around. And this is doing a pretty good job of getting in between. And you have to be careful. You hear the brush is hitting the Iron Orchid molds. I can buff my gold leaf. And I'm just moving it around. And it's a great workout when you're buffing a large piece, but it's fun. Okay, here's what I mean. Right there on the white, can you see it? It left color. So I have to be really careful. I don't mind it, and actually I kind of like it. So what I'll do is go around and hit the high points. If this happens to you, don't panic. Grab your white paint and you just hit the tops where it got discolored if you want to keep it really crisp and white. Now what I want to show you is there are areas that I just couldn't get that brush in, like in here. So I'm taking a clean, natural bristle brush. It has to be clean, and I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna buff. And this will buff up those areas really, really nicely. So it all has the same finish. And you can get up right next to, underneath, and all around. Now, that works really, really well. See that nice sheen I have, that luster, kind of a satin finish. If you don't have a brush, grab an old white t-shirt, a cotton rag that doesn't have any lint. Hey, Pat, how are you? Pat's asking, could you use a brush with natural bristles like your chip brush rather than a black bristle brush for the main buffing? Well, you could, absolutely. The problem is this would be exhausting to do an entire piece of furniture. Like something like this, it's perfect. But to do a whole piece of furniture, I would tell you to do, if you don't have a brush, do the cotton, the old white t-shirt method. If you're not someone who's, you know, flipping pieces and you just do a piece every once in a while, Pat, this works really well. I take an old white t-shirt, again, old, because it's been washed and it doesn't have lint, because that's another thing you have to be careful of. If you have a dark painted piece and you've waxed it and you buff it with new cotton or one of those beautiful flannel cloths, all those tiny cotton fibers will go into your wax and create a haze. So you've got to be careful. So with this, I do the same thing. I just buff. And you're able to get a lot more done, Pat, than if you're using the brush, because it's only got that surface. So it's difficult, but it would be perfect for an ornate piece to buff in between all the carved things. Oh, yes. Okay, Pat, absolutely. Get a shoe brush. What Pat's saying is get a shoe brush with light colored bristles. That's it. And I have one, but I can't find it. Absolutely. Get a shoe brush with light colored bristles. Do a test, like I always say, and then label it, right? Like this one, I know I've used it on dark pieces with dark waxes and stuff, and that's why I see it coming off there. But label your brushes. Yes, that's a really, really good idea, Pat. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. I had so much fun making this piece. Let me tell you, I love the Iron Orchid molds. So you take your cotton cloth and you just buff away so you don't have to use a brush. And this works really well for furniture also. All right, so those are two little tricks that I love. And then I wanted to show you guys, move this over, how the wax looks buffed. So I didn't buff this side. I just waxed it in the I've got like horsehair now in everything. I just waxed it in the tutorial yesterday on this side. So you just go in and you just buff. Now remember what I said yesterday, my dining room table is painted and waxed, and to make a really durable finish, and I love wax for tabletops. Let me just show you this. Flying geese, that's it. That's it. That's the pattern, right? This is all done with milk paint. If you didn't see my live yesterday, I love barn quilts. I'm addicted. I have a giant one on my house. If you want to see the one on my house, go to surfaceanthology.com and go to the blog. And I think I put it in the blog, and it's huge. It's on the side of my house. But you get, let's see if I could get that. See that sheen? It's beautiful. So, and listen to that just dry, not sticky. My flying geese are flying in style. So if this was a tabletop, I would wax it, wait 24 hours, let it dry, buff it, wax it again, wait 24 hours, let it dry, buff it, and do that one more time. 3 coats, and you let it cure for 30 days. And it's the most beautiful, durable finish. So that's it, you guys. I wanted to show you how to buff. As I said, it's a good workout. You just have to, I'm a lefty, so I use my left hand, but to get the even workout, you got to do it with the right one, with the opposite one. But the more you buff, wax, the more of a really beautiful shine you get. I'm trying to get it in the light. It's not easy, you guys. There it is. But it's really beautiful dry finish. So this again is the Miss Mustard Seeds, the new milk wax it's called. It's wonderful. I love it. I really do. And I wouldn't say that if I didn't love it. Because I don't want to sell you anything I wouldn't use myself. I've always been that way. I used to do hair. If I didn't like all the shampoos and conditioners and stuff, I didn't sell it. I don't care. Any questions, you guys? Please ask in the comments. I would love to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I will find it out for you. Pat, thank you so much for joining me in my little buffing tutorial. You guys take care. Have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see you soon. Happy painting.